Neil Funk, Jimmy G, buckets, gets buckets. Oh my goodness, give me the hot sauce, Neil Funk, give me the hot sauce.
What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time. Windy City Assassin does it again. Big time players make big time plays. Give me the hot sauce. Give me the hot sauce, Funk.
Ah, yes, you recognize that voice, the broadcaster for all seasons, the great Stacey King. Episode 45 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. And Stacey, I hope you caught it last week, did a great job broadcasting with Adam Amin on the White Sox Royals game, and he got the baseball broadcaster's worst break, a long rain delay. Stacey, how'd you survive that?
I'll tell you what, two things. I got shafted twice, okay? Not only did I get shafted because of the 2-hour rain delay, the game was supposed to start, I think, at 7, and ended up starting like 9, after 9. And then the Sox lost. And there was no excitement. There was no excitement in the game.
It was a beatdown.
You killed it.
You know what? You can't keep greatness down.
That's right.
Awesome.
I transcend the sports. I go from one sport to another. But I mean, I came away with a different appreciation for guys that do that game. I mean, there's so many numbers, so many things that are involved behind the scenes that I don't think the average fan knows. Because I was actually a fan sitting in the chair, basically. I know I'm a broadcaster for basketball, NBA basketball. But I literally was a fan sitting in there. And it was like driving a Ferrari, not knowing how to drive it. You're stick shifting, you're stripping the gears, but hey, you're going to get to where you need to go. That was me.
Yeah, but you've got that baseball expertise. I mean, you coach the game, you follow it closely, so it wasn't like you were in there not knowing what the game was all about.
Yes, and Mark, now that you bring that up, yes, I am a championship baseball coach. My kids team, we won the Cabo World Series back in 2009. We were a 15-year-old team competing at the 17-year-old level at Youngstown, Ohio. So we beat a bunch of kids that were going into their freshman year with a sophomore team. That tells you how
that's
good
coaching.
my team. So shout out to my Long Grove A's out there, all my little players that battled with me from 9 years old all the way up, and we got us a ring, and that really helped me in the broadcast the other night. So shout out to the Long Grove A's.
I tell you, the crossover segment.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah,
that was
outstanding.
classic. That's classic.
That with
That's
Big
classic.
Hurt and Ozzy.
That's the kind of crossover I like because it was unpredictable.
Yes.
And Ozzy is like a powder keg, and I know Ozzy. I've met Ozzy plenty of times, and he's that way in person. But to sit there and you're on the other end, you go, what is he going to say? What's next? What is he going to do?
We should get him on the show.
We are. Trust me, we are.
Awesome.
We've already worked that out.
I love the fact that they were rooting for you. Like Frank and Ozzy, it was like you were part of the and I know you are because you've been a part of that family, but they were really rooting for you and so excited and happy for you to get that chance. I could feel that.
Yeah, they were. I mean, I'm friends with both those guys, and me and Frank, we go back a long way. So it would be the same way if they came over to the basketball side. We'd be doing the same thing with them. It's a brotherhood. Doesn't matter which sport you call.
Yeah.
I mean, as broadcasters, we're all broadcasters, and to be able to, and you see guys like Adam and Jason Benetti, they jump from sport to sport to sport as the lead guy. But as the analyst part, that's tougher. Because as the actual guy who actually calls the game, to me, that's a little bit easier. But to be an analyst of an NBA game and then coming over and trying to analyze a baseball game, that was a little tougher. I think the hardest part for me is just the numbers and the analytics part because that plays more of an important role in calling a baseball game per se a basketball game.
Especially when you're not on remote and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, you can't see what's going on, what's on the monitor.
Situation with Tony coming out, and you guys were just, I mean, I'm not going to say clueless because had no idea what was going on with the.
No.
It's happening all around the country, though. Broadcasters are complaining that they can't see the field.
Well, in baseball is a lot more difficult than basketball. We had some struggles early on in basketball, but we were able to, get through it and be able to call the games. And, with a baseball game, you can't see where the ball's hit. You don't know where it's going. Like if it's down the line, you don't know if it's down the line. So I think at the end of the day, I just try to do what I do best. Be comfortable, be myself, and call the game how I would call the game if, I was doing a basketball game, basically.
Well, you entertained the audience. I know everybody enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Looking forward to seeing Stacey King and Adam do another game.
No, I don't know if I'm going to do that again. I think
You're not going to commit to a 12-hour day.
America. It was, listen.
Oh,
Hey, listen.
come on.
I'm a very talented guy. I will say that. But that was a little bit too. I would say out of my comfort zone. That was way out of my comfort zone. Now, I think that really the biggest thing was the rain delay, because I didn't get home. I didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning, and that just sucked. I mean, seriously. And then on top of it, we were there. We were hungry, so I said, "Hey, I'm gonna treat the crew. I'm gonna treat the crew since we're all I'm gonna treat my man Joe Grube and Adam Amin to dinner." So I asked them what they wanted, and they we don't care. So I said, "I'm ordered PF Chang's. That's one of my little go-to restaurants out here in the suburbs." So I ordered PF Chang's on Uber Eats, and I'm sitting there waiting for the rain delay. We would have been able to eat the dinner during the rain delay.
Sure.
That's why I ordered it. Okay.
Timing works out perfect.
It worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there waiting. So I'm texting the driver like, "Yo, where you at?" I said, I told you where to go. And he says, "Well, I don't know where the door is." I said, "It's right. You got to go to the main entrance on the Michigan Avenue side."
Before you go on with this, I should have mentioned this during the production meeting. The main entrance to NBC Tower is on Columbus Drive.
Well, Mark, unfortunately, I don't work there, okay? This is what Joe Groove told me to do.
Groove out of the
Joe Groove, yes, I am throwing Joe Groove because he gave me the address and told him on Michigan Avenue side, because that was the only door that was open.
Michigan Avenue is a long way from the NBC Tower.
No, that little drive-through,
That's the City Front Plaza.
Okay, that's where he wanted me to take the City Front Plaza. That's what it was, City Front Plaza. Thank you, Mark. I knew you were good for something.
I worked there for 7 years.
Yeah, so I'm saying, you know all the little ins and outs, okay? Because I came underneath, off Illinois Street, underneath.
Yeah, for the underground parking.
That's why I go. So, it's free. I get special treatment down there. They just, everybody else.
I got special treatment too until they showed me the door.
Oh, Mark. Well, you know what? Shame on those people because you are talented. But anyway, back to my story about how I lost my food.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting for this guy, and I'm texting him, "Where you at, man? I can't find it. I'm walking around the NBC Tower." So you're walking around the NBC Towers, really, dude? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
I told you where to go. All you got to do is go right back out to the front, City Front Plaza, and go drop it off. The man's waiting for you. Didn't do it. He went home. He took the food that I got, $165 worth of food, took it home and probably ate it with his family. Okay. I don't really, I didn't care about that because I'm going to get a refund. If it helped him and his family, so be it. Okay.
There you go.
So I decided to do another little smart move. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to reorder the food because I'm going to get a refund anyway for the first one.
Right.
So I reorder it. And now the game is getting ready to start. So it's like 15 minutes before the game start. Here's this person that calls me on the phone. "Excuse me, we don't have a, they don't have the order ready." I said, "What do you mean they don't have the order ready? It says right here on the phone on the Uber thing, it's ready." "No, they said they canceled the order." And I said, "What?" So I get, let me speak to somebody on the phone. So I speak to some girl. I said, "Hey, what's the deal with the food? I just ordered the food." She said, "Well, we thought it was a duplicate order when it came in. Okay, so we canceled it." So I said, "So you canceled it, but you took my money. So how's it a duplicate order? If it's already paid for, then you should have made the food."
Yeah.
"Well, you have to take that up with my manager." I said, "Well, I don't have time to take it up with your manager. We're starving over here. We're hungry. We're in a rain delay.
We're trying to broadcast a baseball
and we
game.
need some food."
Yeah.
So she goes, "Well, I'm sure Uber Eats will, reimburse you, which they did." But I was just like, why wouldn't you have just called Uber Eats and said, "Hey, look, is this a duplicate order or is this a new order?" That's what you think they would have done, but it took too much effort. So then I said, "Hey, how about y'all just go ahead and cook the food? The driver's right there. Just cook it and throw it together, boom, boom." Because it was lettuce wraps and dynamite shrimp or whatever.
Yum.
And yum. That's why I was upset. That's why I was upset. So then she goes, "Well, the kitchen's closed." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like,
3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah. So $350 just disappeared. Poof.
Oh, man.
So I want to
no
send a
food.
special shout out to Hooters.
Hooters.
In the city. I want to send a special shout out to Hooters because they took care of me. They delivered me at least 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of shrimp,
Check
some
that.
chicken wings.
Joe Group said it was 20 pounds of wings inside that bag. He said, "Nope." He ordered shrimp, much easier.
Yes. I had shrimp, and everybody else had chicken wings.
Yeah.
But I ordered enough for everybody, like even the guys in the truck that were in the main studio, if they wanted some. And but I shout out to Hooters. I'm a member of the Hooters Men Club. I love going to Hooters. I have my card. I can go in all over the world. I'm a Hooters fan. America, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I've even bought my wife a pair of orange shorts and a halter top so she can walk around the house.
How'd that go over?
It went over really good. It went over really good, baby. She wasn't in it very long, though. Yeah. I'm just going to throw that out there, America.
Did she put it back on?
No, she only wore it one time.
Their slogan used to be delightfully tacky yet unrefined.
Yes. It was. I don't look at it being tacky. Okay,
of course not.
I think that I love it. I grew up with those orange shorts and the little white shirt, in Coconut Grove. That was one of our favorite stops when we were on our championship years. We stayed in Coconut Grove, and there used to be a Hooters right across the street.
I've always wondered who goes to Hooters.
Everybody.
You have answered that question.
Are you talking about that hotel that had the
whirlpools?
The whirlpools.
The whirlpools.
Yes, and the mirrors on the ceiling.
Yes, we had. I don't know about the mirrors in the ceiling. I never got a chance to look at that. Anyway,
they had the pianos.
Yes,
had the pianos.
Yes, and they had the most important thing to this hotel had the hot tub. The hot tub was right on your balcony. But now that I look back, that could have been a health hazard. Now that I look back on it, Mark,
I took one look at that hot tub.
No chance.
Mark, no, but it was self cleaning hot tub because you could drain it, and then you could bring it back up. But my story about Hooters, we used to go to Hooters. Listen, Susan, seriously, Susan. Now that I'm older, I make that same face you're making right now. But back then when I was young, I thought it was cool. I thought it was having a hot tub. You have a little hot tub. Have a little hot tub. Hot tub. And so, but Hooters was right across the street. So here's a funny story. We're playing the Miami Heat in the playoffs. That's when you had like a 5. It was the best 3 out of 5, and so we crushed them in Chicago, and it was snowing, and so we were all sitting there saying, "Man, what if they beat us?
Maybe we give them a game.
Maybe we give them a game, and we'll stay longer because at that point, after game 3, there would have been a 3 or 4 layoff before the next one." So we were all seriously contemplating at shoot around or at practice. Wait, man, what if they have an off night? Statute of limitations anyway, America.
Yeah.
But we didn't. We went in and we kicked it. But the whole point was Michael Jordan, this is one of the funniest stories. I don't think anybody's heard this. But Michael Jordan spent the whole day from the time that we got there till probably the wee hours of the morning at Hooters hanging out with Michael Irvin, The Rock, Warren Sapp, Alonzo Highsmith, all these great Miami players, and they were all pros at the time. And they were trying to get Michael so messed up that it would give the Miami Heat a chance to win. And so that's what they did. They spent the whole night. Dan Marino was there too. They're all just tossing back everything. Boom, 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 boom. And Michael was over there all day. And then over the next day on game day, he was over there.
And where were you?
Listen, I was taking care of business. I know that doesn't matter. I was in the hot tub. Okay, I was in the hot tub because it was hot, America, hot. But anyway, bro, I was really interrupted by Stinger because there's a statute of limitations and he's trying to get me in trouble here. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. So feels like, hey, does anyone see Michael? And we said, well, last time we saw him, last time he was over at Hooters. Because I went over to Hooters at lunch and he was still there. I'm like, damn, MJ's still here? So he was in the same clothes. I'm like, did he sleep here? So he goes, somebody go get Michael. And so, by that time, Michael's already back in the hotel and he's already got dressed. And so we're all worried now because MJ, he's been over there all day drinking, having a good time. And there's no way in the world he's going to be in any kind of form to play. Okay. So, this is why I say God has a speed dial to MJ. I mean, seriously, like he just calls him up and gets that little extra boost. So MJ's the last one on the bus. So he comes on, he's got his dark Ray-Ban sunglasses on. He's dressed to a T in a blue suit. I mean, just looking fly. So he's coming on with a cigar. And he's bopping on the plane. He's like, how you doing, boys? Are y'all ready tonight? We're going to get this win. And we're all like looking at him like, okay, now weren't you the guy that's been at Hooters for almost like a 24-hour telethon and you're ready to play? And that was the game he scored like 50-something points and he just destroyed Miami. And I was like, good God, man. Nobody, I promise you, nobody in their right mind would have been able to play the way he played that game.
Wow.
It was
That's an
it was
endorsement for Hooters.
unbelievable for a guy who didn't have any rest. Probably didn't have any sleep.
Wow.
And you should have seen all these guys. It was a who's who of great Miami Hurricane people. They were just partying, and they were even admitted, yeah, we trying to get Michael. We want him all. We don't want him to win. We want the Heat to win. And we're all just going like, wow.
Hooters.
MJ's falling for the old banana in the tailpipe trick here. Like, come on, big fella, we're trying to win. But then we're thinking ourselves, we're saying like, yeah, that's not a bad idea because if MJ's not playing, that means we get to stay here another week. And while it's snowing in Chicago, hey, but it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way. We win, we swept them, and we came back to the frigid cold.
Yeah, once again, we learned that normal human rules do not apply to Michael Jordan.
No, because he's not human, America. He's not human.
I think I just looked it up. 1992, 56 points.
Yes.
56
There's
points.
a play in that.
43 minutes.
43 minutes.
And he was probably pointing all those legends in the crowd as
and
he was
sweating
scoring.
and
30 shots.
Yes, sweating. I mean, you could just tell, just sweating like profusely.
Sweating that
And
Hooters out.
but there was a play. He got a rebound. He got a rebound with one hand. Went up and got the ball with one hand, and he faked the pass. Faked the pass with one hand. And everybody went, and he starts dribbling down the floor like he's in a minefield, going in between Glenn Rice and Steve Smith, and he goes in, dunks on Allen Ogg, or I think it was Allen Ogg or Kessler, but he just bams on him. I mean, 94 feet, he was just wheezing through people like a Ferrari against Hyundais, and I'm sitting there like, that's when we knew he was on another level.
Oh,
like
man.
we see, and this is a guy now. Remember, this guy's probably got about 3% body fat, which is like, no one can get to. This is a guy who comes to practice and he's always got McDonald's. He's always eating Egg McMuffins, sausage, always just eating. He eats eggs and steak and eggs before every game, and he's ripped. And you're wondering, like, how in the hell can he eat all this and not affect him at some point? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, steak and egg before a game, that is heavy.
Yeah.
Like most of us eat like chicken or maybe even like some pasta, but earlier in the day.
Yeah, right.
MJ would like eat it like 2-3 hours before the game.
Wow. The legend of Michael Jordan grows
He's
here
a
on
legend.
Give Me the Hot Sauce.
He's a
Episode
legend.
45, which is kind of
Legend of
since he wore 45.
Right.
45.
Yeah,
MJ.
His first number in high school. That's why he wore 45 when he came
wore
back.
it playing baseball.
Yes.
Look at Mark.
Double nickel in 45 though.
But wasn't it the famous game against the Knicks?
The
where
Knicks, when he hit
45
double-
and 23.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a great guest coming up on episode 45, one of MJ's former teammates as well, Randy Brown, who was
Randy
part of the
Brown.
second three-peat. We're looking forward to visiting with Randy, see what he's been up to. And
Randy.
you mentioned Jason Benetti. It's his birthday today, so
Happy
shout out to
birthday,
Jason Benetti.
JB.
We hope to have him on the show very soon. He was going
Yes.
to come on a couple of weeks ago, but he
Yes.
had a game conflict, so we're going to try to
I
get Jason.
just talked to him yesterday about that.
Looking ahead to the playoffs. Also want to give a shout out to one of our loyal followers over in the UK, Sam Blake.
Sam!
Welcome the daughter, his second daughter. He posted something on social media holding
yes.
his beautiful daughter, and he tagged us in there. We want to say thank you for watching the show. We want to thank everybody. Episode 44 with John Paxson was our most watched on YouTube, most downloads
America.
for the podcast. We appreciate it.
America,
we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, special shout out to you guys because the channel continues to grow. We haven't been at this very long, but the support that we've had, from everybody has been outstanding. We want to continue to go, so continue to watch, continue to subscribe to all the social media avenues, especially YouTube, because we really have so much fun. I know if you're listening on podcasts, sometimes you probably spit out your coffee because you're laughing so hard, but you really got to see it on YouTube. You got to see how we are on YouTube.
And I love the
awesome.
comments because a lot of the comments really hit home for, what Pax did for the Bulls and as a player, and what he said was great. How he
Yeah, a lot of
stepped
people
aside.
showed their appreciation
They did,
for what he
and
did,
it
both
was
as a
nice.
player and as an executive.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when you look back hindsight, you have to appreciate what he's done. You could be mad at a guy, you can be mad at him for the last few years, but at the same time, and we talked about this on the show, it's like, sometimes fans get spoiled of success. You have this high expectations. When you won, 6 out of 8 championships, we won 1, they wanted 2, 1, 2, they wanted 6, so you got 6 out of 8, and it set the bar extremely high being a Chicago Bulls player and a Chicago Bulls fans. I mean, there's a reason why their brand is so global. is because of the winning and the expectations of winning. So, and Pax, you look at Pax's record. I mean, Kirk Heinrich come in the year after Jason Williams goes out. I mean, most teams would have set most teams back 10 years when you lose that quality of a point guard.
Second pick in the draft.
Second pick of the draft, exactly. So they recovered quickly. He was able to turn it around and flip some things around and get some players in there. And the core group of his acquisitions were Luol Deng, Ben Gordon, Derrick Rose,
Joakim
Noah. I mean,
Taj Gibson.
Taj Gibson. I mean, you go down the line and he's hit some home runs. Has he struck out? Did he strike out sometimes? Yes, he did. Did Gar strike out some? Yes, they did. And you're going to do that in the front office sometimes.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, as Stacey mentioned, we appreciate that. You notice that one of our cast members is not here. Timmy Whispers is away with his father, who's battling a serious illness. We want to dedicate episode 45 to Tim and his dad. Stacey, his dad. He's a fighter, and just want to send our love and our prayers their way.
Yeah, it's a tough time for the Kellys right now because he's the main guy. He's the king of the household and one of the funniest people that you'll ever meet. I mean, he's 82 years old and looks like he's 52.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to believe that he's hurting right now and he's sick. So my prayers go out to the Kelly family, and it hurts me because I feel like he's my dad too. So I've known him for a long time.
Well, that's your running buddy. 30 years of abuse.
Yeah, 30 years of abuse. I mean, if you listen to Tim, his dad probably gave him more. I just added on to that. I just picked the baton up and ran it. But just a great guy. I mean, he has a love of cars. Just eccentric taste and some of the things. I mean, I've learned a lot from him over the years, and just a great guy. So my prayers go out to Tim and his family.
Yeah, Whispers, we're with you. We hope to have you back real soon. Want to talk about some NBA business before we bring Randy Brown in. The Bulls basically set their roster for training camp. They brought in, I got to be careful with this phrase. I was going to say they brought in a couple of Johnsons, but that's probably not the best way to put it. They brought in Alize Johnson and Stanley Johnson.
Johnson.
Couple of forwards. And Alize, Stacey, a lot of people don't know much about him, but he had a 20-20 game, 20-point, 20-rebound game. This is a guy that can jump out of the gym. He's 6'7", but they're thinking that he can play some backup 4 because he's such an explosive leaper.
Well, I mean, if you look at what the Bulls roster is constructed of now, is athletes and long athletes, guys that are interchangeable parts. They went after defense. I mean, Stanley Johnson, to me, you got to remember, he was a lottery pick. Not
Eighth
too long
pick in the draft.
He was a lottery pick. And one thing, his reputation in this NBA is he's tough and he can defend. He can defend anybody on the floor. And you can see that AK and Mark, that's one of their areas they wanted to really get strong at, is get some guys in here with toughness and defensive mindset. We talked about earlier how it'd be a great guy to get like a Jay Crowder type guys. Well, the Bulls picked up some guys with that type of mentality to come in and play. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a competitive training camp. I think guys are going to be put on notice. The best are going to play. If you want to get in that rotation, you better earn it during training camp. And that's the way you build playoff caliber teams. No one's guaranteed anything. No matter how much money you make, you got to come out here and earn it and, let it ride.
There was a game late in the season when Toronto was actively trying to lose to help their draft position that Stanley Johnson, I think, had like a 35-point game against the Bulls. He went off on them.
Yeah, he did. And sometimes, Mark, you get this reputation of just being a defensive player. Right. And then, when you do score, it's a shock. The kid was an 8th pick in the draft. Okay. So obviously he can score. That was never his role in Detroit and in Toronto. That wasn't his role. And on this team, he's going to be asked to do a lot of things. He's going to be asked to score. He's going to be asked to play tough defense on guys and come off the bench and give them a spark. So I'm excited about that pick. I know a lot of people would have wanted the Bulls to get bigger, go out and get a legit guy. If they were going to do that, it would have kept, Daniel Tice, but right. I think what they've seen with Phoenix this past year and what you've seen with Golden State, you don't have to be overly big. You can play small ball and be able to switch on the perimeter defensively and be versatile. Phoenix was that way this year. When Sarge went out, that hurt him. But they pretty much played small ball the rest of the way with the small power forward, and it can be done.
And they did go after Paul Millsap, as Pax mentioned last week. They made a competitive offer for him, but he just decided to jump on Brooklyn, hoping to get a ring.
Yeah,
because he doesn't
he's
have
ring
one
chasing. He's ring chasing, and I mean, that team's going to be favored coming out of the East, and they should be because I mean, even last year we talked about it. I mean, that team last year was two people were injured. If one of those guys played, Harden or Kyrie Irving, it may be a different story for the Milwaukee Bucks. And they're not taking anything away from the Milwaukee Bucks fans. They earned it. They deserved it. But let's be realistic. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. Okay, they did beat you in Game 6 by almost 40. So and that was with a hobbled. That was a hobbled Kyrie Irving. When he went out early and they beat you almost by 40. And then Game 7, you were Kevin Durant foot too short, I mean, or too long, whatever. Too long.
18 to
I mean, and he single-handedly almost got them out of that Game 7.
Yeah, I just want to mention Matt Thomas is also a guy. He can shoot the three.
It's a non-guaranteed deal, but he'll come to training camp, and every team can use another three-point shooter.
And maybe we can save the Ben Simmons talk for Randy Brown because he's
in the
Sriracha waiting room.
Yes,
I'd like to get his comments on contemporary player, right?
Yeah, that'd
Ben
be great.
Simmons. All right.
All right, so we're going to take a quick time out here. Coming up next, Randy Brown joins the cast on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Episode 45.
Gimme the hot sauce. Sriracha.
At guard, a 6'2", graduate of Chicago Crane High School. Please welcome to Gimme the Hot Sauce, Randy Brown.
Randy Brown.
Randy, welcome to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, you see we got 5 boxes there. We've got an NBA team right here ready to go, okay?
You do, Mark. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, King. How you doing?
What's going on, RB?
Nothing, brother. Thank you for having me, Mark. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it.
Hey,
looking forward to having some fun, man.
Yeah, tell the folks what you're up to these days.
Getting old. I'm getting old, but I'm still I still got a little wisdom left. While I haven't been working, I got a chance to sit down and didn't realize how close I was to finishing my degree, and found out I only needed 12 classes to complete my degree. And I sat down in my office, man, and took 3 classes per semester and finally graduated from New Mexico State.
Congratulations. That takes perseverance when you get older to go back into the books and do all that work.
Mark, you have no idea how difficult it was. I had to discipline myself as a student again, and I had to get in there and chat with the classmates who, at one point, I even reached out to one of my professors. I was like, you know what, can I just not even put my face on class? And he was like, no, I need you for this class. I got attacked by some millennials in class, but it taught me to have some tough skin, brother. So
it's not like when you're in college when people are writing your papers for you. I mean, that went away.
Well, that's uncalled for.
Yeah, that's uncalled for.
That's a Mike Tyson.
Oklahoma.
That's a Mike Tyson hit below the belt. I'm just interfering right now. I'm interjecting right now. That was uncalled for by Mark Shanowski. That's what you might as well just bite his ear next time, Mark. Go ahead and bite his earlobe off like Tyson did Holyfield, because that was uncalled for. Randy Brown is a student.
The message was understood.
Yes, Randy Brown. Let me tell you something. We were both students. We're both. I was a journalism major, and I just want to say that I could teach a class. I'm on the verge of teaching a class at DePaul at some point. Wow. So I just want to throw that out to Mark, since he wanted to try to underhand an uppercut to you. I just want him to let you know that Randy Brown is a smart individual.
Maybe you should play the Oklahoma fight song. It's getting kind of thick in here. The old Sooner Boomer.
Hey, haters everywhere. Haters everywhere.
I just learned at the age of 53 there is a letter grade that's called an A.
Oh,
hey, how about that?
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, Randy. That's awesome. That's awesome, bro.
I went so long talking to doing speaking engagements to kids, talking about get your education, and I didn't even have my degree.
Yeah,
so I can personally talk to kids about persevering through getting a college degree. Man, it was tough. but I made it fun. I had some really good classes, and I had all the time in the world. I did everything right online from my home, and I was able to knock it out. So I finally finished this summer, and I'm waiting for my diploma in the mail.
Well, that's great.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. We do the show every week, and I'm often surprised that Stacey brings out a story we haven't heard before. And he told us a great MJ story during the first three-peat where he was out partying the whole night before the game 3 of an opening round series, and then he dropped 56 on the Heat with a severe hangover. You got any MJ stories you want to share from the second three-peat?
I think, Mark, I got a ton of them, but I think I got tons of them, and they're all positive in a way. But I just remember this one particular time I had back in the day, I had a broken big toe. I mean, everybody wanted to call it a sprain. That thing was messed up. And this was one particular time I go into the Berto Center, I got my flip-flops on. I'm thinking I'm just going to sit there with a cup of coffee and thinking I'm not going to practice. And who did I run into? It was MJ. And he was like, so what's going on? I was like, well, I think my toe is broken. He was like, all right, well, you're going to practice, right? I was like, huh? So I remember like yesterday, Chip Schaefer cut a hole. I was wearing Jordans at the time. He cut a hole in my Jordan shoe so I could have some support, some relief for my toe. They taped it up, and I went out and practiced with a hole in a Jordan shoe. So MJ made me practice and then was upset that I cut a hole in his shoe.
Can't devalue the merchandise.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
Awesome.
At least I got through the hour practice, man. But that was the impact that my guy had on me. And that's one of the things I learned from him when I became a Bull, that I didn't realize that these guys practice, man.
Yeah.
Practice was a real thing by the time I got to the Bulls. Yeah, King knows back in the 90s, if something's hurt, you take a day off next day to get ready for the game. But by the time I got to the Bulls, there was no such thing as sitting out of practice. Nope. I wasn't prepared for that. I think that's why my first year with the Bulls in 95, 96, I kind of struggled a little bit with getting on the same playing field as those guys. And I had to learn how to practice all over again. And we'll talk about that triangle offense a little bit later. So that kind of slowed my process.
No, he's telling the truth there about the practice thing. I mean, listen, I saw Bill Cartwright, have knee surgery, and John Paxson have knee surgery on a Monday, and they were planning the game on Wednesday. Scoped. And that's when I knew, like, I could never come to practice as a young player talking about my back hurt or my toenail hurt. I could never do that. They put Michael, it starts at top.
Conversation.
Yeah,
it wasn't a conversation. If something was hurt, don't walk through that Berto door.
No.
Do not come in and say I'm not going to go today. It just wasn't a conversation at all.
I mean, if you only thing they would exclude you if you had like a temperature of like 103, that would be different. But like any kind of muscular or anything like that, and even then they'd say take Tylenol. They get a temperature now, take Tylenol.
I think King, the only thing he probably would have said was if an ambulance would have rolled us into the Berto Center and was like, this guy cannot practice.
Yes. But he's not lying though. When your number one guy is your hardest worker, this is what this league doesn't understand, and these young kids don't understand. And you see it especially with the teams that are not winning. If your number one guy is not your hardest worker, your number two guy is not your hardest worker, then how do you expect everybody else to fall in line? And that was always the case with Michael and Scotty. They were always the hardest workers, and it forced everyone else to keep up. And then when you see an older Bill Cartwright, 32, 33 years old, out there running suicide in the 17s, and here I am like a 22, 23. If I even went out there and told me my foot hurt, man, I don't even know what would have happened. I wouldn't have been there very long. Believe that.
What happened, brother? That was a real thing. The minute I put on that jersey, I didn't know there was such a thing. I thought there was always a day off for a guy playing 35 minutes. And here you got Michael, just played the whole full quarter, and so did Scotty. And I get there and those guys are taping their ankles, getting ready for the next morning. So it was a shock to my system. And it taught me how to prepare for practice. It taught me about my eating habits, and before you knew it, man, practice became my games. Practice became really serious to me. That was an opportunity for me to get, on that United Center floor, which was a goal of mine.
Randy, one of the big television events of 2020 was The Last Dance, the 10-part documentary series, and you lived it. Obviously, that was Michael's perspective on the on that second three-peat run. As being a part of that team, what were your reactions to it? Did you feel like Michael was almost glorified to a new level, or do you think it was pretty accurate for the most part?
Well, you guys will, throughout the show, you guys will probably pick up on this, that I don't have an ego at all. And I think that's why I persevered through 25 years of the NBA business. And going in, knew it was going to be about Michael. It's understandable. But I also know that Last Dance was a real stressful season. If it was stressful for me, just imagine what Michael and Scotty, Dennis Rodman, and Tony Kukoc went through. So as much as I was a fan of watching The Last Dance, I wish it would have been some of my other teammates had an opportunity to tell that side of the story. I'm pretty sure Luke Longley has a story that he wanted to tell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm pretty sure Ron Harper had a story that he wanted to tell. Yeah. So I can go down the line. Like I said, I was a fan watching that thing, man, but I think Stacey King, being on those three championship teams, that was the first dance.
Yep.
Going on that, I was lucky being a Chicago kid, putting on a Bulls uniform, being a part of the Last Dance and those Bulls championship teams, man. Well, people have taken a lot of stuff away from me. That won't be taken away from me.
Yeah.
When you look at the last season and that last championship year, and did you know going into that last season, Randy, that was it, that it was going to be the last hurrah for the Bulls?
No, King. I wasn't privy to any of the conversations that might have happened between Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson, and I did know that Phil Jackson wasn't healthy. We knew that he was going to have hip surgery, but I didn't know going into the season that would be the last dance, even though that's what we were calling it. And the 95-96 team won 72 games. The 97 team won 69, and the Last Dance team won 62 games. And it was a tough season. As you can see, we finally got stretched to a 7-game series against the Pacers and were able to win it. But in the back of my mind, King, I was this naive kid. I was like, there's no way they're going to break up a championship team. And I think because of the strike season, which was a final season, it gave a little bit more time for them to get that thing rolling for that team to be broken up. As old as people want to say we were, I still feel that we weren't given the opportunity to defend that crown, because we easily could have won 35 games in a 50-game season and try to win another one. So to answer your question, King, I had no idea. I knew there was talk, but there's always talk, right? I just figured at some point, we keep this thing going. And, and to that day it happened kind of fast, and there was no more.
Well, a lot of people forget is that, the big names from that team left. Randy and a couple of the other guys hung around. And Randy, I'll never forget this. The first couple of games, they were going, and now you're world champion Chicago Bulls, and they're introducing Cornell David. And then finally, somebody in the organization said, you know what, let's not say you're world champion Chicago. They just stopped. They said, I mean, that had to be tough for you and Tony and Bill Wennington, and I think Harp was there the first year. I mean, you're looking around going, wait a minute, where's Superman? I mean, what's going on here?
But Mark, even though that theme song is going to be forever, the thing about it, what about the opponent that we were looking for that heard all that? We were like, oh God. I look over. We got the New York Knicks listening to that music too. Like, okay.
Payback's a bitch, right?
Yeah. You don't have Black Superman in there, brother.
Yes, that was again, strike season. I remember, God, Tim Floyd.
Oh, he was lost, man.
The first day of practice, we didn't even have no players to practice.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had to go fire sale and get enough players just to fill out the roster. So you're right. The only people who left was myself, Ron Harper, Tony Kukoc, and Dickie Simpkins was there.
They brought in Brent Barry.
And we signed Brent Barry.
Yeah.
And we put together
Mark Bryant.
But Mark Bryant is exactly the per diem taker. But that theme song, Mark, that theme song got us in trouble, man.
So how many games did y'all win that year?
13, I think.
Mark, thank you. 13, and I know for sure we were playing the Miami Heat, and I believe we lost by 55 points.
Oh.
Wow.
Or we scored 55.
Scored 49. That's still an NBA record.
It was the most disappointing game. I had to go through that tunnel. I was like, how am I going to walk through this tunnel and face these fans? I remember it like yesterday. The Miami Heat put it on us, man. From that music, Mark.
Yeah.
So the music started that whole beat down.
So basically, that was the payback tour. That all the times that you basically were getting paid. You were getting paid back for all the winning that the Bulls had done and all the beatings that you guys put on people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was payback.
First
time.
quarter was at 23 to 8.
That was wow. That was most. Of course, I didn't do very many interviews when Michael and Scotty and Dennis were there. But once they left, I was leaning on to do a lot of these interviews, and that was the topic. Are these payback games from these teams? I'm like, you know what? Now that King say that was a payback season.
Yeah,
it was a payback. Just think about how many times where we walk into these arenas and. We took over these arenas and these teams' fans, and now they get a chance to come into United Center, which we still had 25,000 fans. We still sold out that place. Yeah. And those teams walked into United Center. It was like, you can turn that music off. Those Bulls not running through this thing today.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because when I got traded to Minnesota, and they brought Luke over for the second, the second three-peat. I remember playing Houston and the Dream and Clyde Drexler, and I had like 28 points and like 12 rebounds, and we're getting beat by about 30. And then then Sam Cassell and them was like, yeah, you ain't got Black Jesus tonight. You went from the pit house to the outhouse, and I was like, and I really, for the first time in my life, because I really pushed for that trade because I wanted more playing time. I wanted to show that I was a starter in this league. And that was the first time in my life that I realized I made a huge mistake. If I could go back, seriously, if I could go back and change that, and that's why I tell kids all the time, the grass is not always greener on the other side. And I found that out going from an organization that was first class professionalism to going to a team. It was basically an expansion team, a little bit older than an expansion team, and it was so a disarray. I mean, my first day there, Randy, just like when the championship year is over and you didn't have enough to practice, I get there, Sidney Lowe says, hey, Stacey, we're going to have a shoot around. We're going to walk through the place so you can play tonight. I'm like, cool. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I want to get out there and drop some numbers on people. So I get out there, Randy. We had like 4 people in the gym to walk through. None of the players were there. They said it was an optional shoot around. No, it wasn't. They didn't come. And so Randy, let me tell you what they did. So we were practicing in the health club. So they went upstairs and got a lady off a treadmill. They got a dude who was rehabbing an ankle. He had a cast on. They asked him to walk in and we need you to play Clyde Drexler with a cast on. And we had the equipment manager out there and then the laundry guy.
How many points you get beat by that night?
We got killed. But the fact that we didn't have enough to practice. You remember Mike Brown, the Brown Bear? So Mike Brown was there. Tellis Frank was there. And they said, hey, get used to this, Stacey. Like, this is how these guys come to practice when they want to come to practice. I was like, that's what I realized right then and there. I made a huge mistake. I should have stayed my ass in Chicago and waited till MJ stopped chasing curveballs and went and stayed and got me 3 more rings.
3 more? You would have had
3 more. King, I signed with the Bulls in the summer of '95 as a free agent. My first time I was given the opportunity to be a free agent. And I got criticized for signing with the Bulls. They were like, look, you leaving the Sacramento Kings where you're a part-time starter, you playing a lot of minutes, to go into the Bulls where you're not going to play at all. And I never once thought about the aspect of my playing time is going to be cut short. I was thinking about the opportunity that a West Side kid got an opportunity to put on a Bulls uniform. And I put my ego aside, just like all my other teammates did, because we had quite a few role players on that team. And I never once thought about the aspect of, I'm not going to be playing as much. I was thinking about, hey, this could be a great opportunity for me to play right in my backyard. And, looked up on 3 championships. So I understand, man. The grass is not always green on the other side.
No, it wasn't. Matter of fact, it was no grass. It was cement. That's what it looked like when I was on the other side.
Cracked sidewalks.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. It was terrible. So your impression coming home, a lot of people talk about the pressure of being at home and with the family and the friends and everybody. Did you feel any of that when you came back to play for this team?
I did, and that's why I think I was so helpful to Derrick Rose, who followed me, being a Chicago kid, just like a few before myself. Craig Hodges, Darrell Walker before me, Rod Higgins also played for the Bulls, and I felt the pressure, King, of performing in front of my brothers and sisters and my parents and my friends. Of course, your family's always going to be behind you. They want to see you play 20 minutes a game and score 20 points a minute. And that wasn't my game. So yeah, there was some pressure with me doing that. And I took that because I never ran from pressure, man. I never ran from hard conversations, difficult conversations. And I took that opportunity, man, to bring my family along. You know, not only was it a good time for me, it was a great time for my family as well. The only negative that came out of that, King, is the 24 tickets I went through per game. Oh my God, brother! The Bulls only gave us 4 tickets, and I ended up spending money on 20 more. And the other, when I needed 4 more, I knew Black Jesus had the other 4.
Yeah. He was a ticket man.
So there was King. Yes, there was some pressure, man, of always performing in front of my brothers and sisters and my parents and my wife and my kids and my peers and stuff like that, because you always wanted to do well. And once you didn't play well, you know, you just always know you're gonna have that, you know, that tough love from your family. So there was a lot of pressure, man. But I hopefully, you know, the Bulls fans are listening and watching, that I took it in stride.
You know, Randy, after you left the Bulls organization, finished your playing career, you came back. The Reinsdorfs brought you back. You spent time working in the front office. You were an assistant coach for a while. Reflecting on that experience, I'm sure you owe a debt of gratitude to the Reinsdorfs. But was that difficult for you to try to find your niche, going from the front office to coaching?
Yeah, Mark, that's a great question, man, and that's a great question, because this is the reason where I'm at now, because the Bulls and Michael and Jerry Reinsdorf, and along with John Paxson Gar, they gave me a lot of rope, man, and I earned everything I ever got. You know, from a player to a coach to a front office member, I was never given anything. I've earned everything I got. But the Bulls gave me a lot of rope when I was wet behind the ears, man. I didn't know if I wanted to be a coach. I just came from coaching with the Sacramento Kings, and right away I was thrown into the front office with the Bulls. I didn't know what the job detail was. I didn't know what my role was going to be. And so I reached out to a lot of people in the NBA about what's the role of a player development person. And I found myself learning the job on the fly, because I learned it was stuff that I needed when I was a young player that I didn't have. It's a veteran voice, a person that's been around the block, and this is my hometown, you know. So yes, Jerry Reinsdorf and Michael, man, they've always been great to me. And like I said, John and Gar gave me a lot of opportunities to grow. And without them, man, I wouldn't have the success of, you know, being a front office member. But I never found out if I was going to be a really good coach or a really good assistant GM, because I was always torn right in the middle of what I should do. But at the same time, you know, I was given that opportunity because everybody knew I was a hard worker and it was genuine.
So when you look at being the player development coach, and we all know, I know what that entails, but our listeners may not know what that is. So give them a little bit of taste of what your role is as a player development, and what exactly what you do on a day-to-day basis with these young players.
A player development member, King, is, you know, back in the 90s, there was no such thing. You know, I was a 20-year-old kid. I walk in this locker room with all these veteran players. Nobody told me how to save my money. Nobody told me how to eat right or do anything. And so when I became with the Bulls with player development, I got a chance to start off on my own platform. You know, I wasn't given a detailed book of what I can and cannot do, But the one thing I wanted to do was to stay away from coaching. I was part of the front office. I didn't want to get in the way of coaching. That wasn't my job. It wasn't my job to interfere with the players as far as playing time and stuff like that. I figured a person that's from Chicago, that I had a strong voice. If I can get a player to clear his mind for 3 hours to play a basketball game, then I think I've done my job from my seat. Again, I didn't want to coach. I wasn't a coach. And John and Gar, like I said, they gave me a lot of rope. And if John and Gar are going to see this, they probably don't even know half of the stuff that I did for my players. And I did that because of the stuff that wasn't done for me. And I wanted to make sure that the players had every resource that they needed so they can play a basketball game. And I think that a part of being a player development guy, I was perfect for it. This is my hometown. I knew the car dealerships. I knew the realtors. So anything I can do to make sure my players aren't getting cheated was my number one goal. And the other thing is I can be a sounding board for these guys. And it had nothing to do with coaching. And I can say this as a person being 53 years old today. If I pissed anybody off about that, I'm sorry. I never got in the way of coaching because I knew that wasn't my job. Gar and John never allowed me to touch such a place. And I'm real good at mending and building relationships, and the players saw me for that. Only that. It wasn't my job to be a coach, and I wanted to help those guys away from the basketball court. King, and you know this, my focus was, what am I going to do, or what are these players going to do for 28 hours out of the day? Because we're only going to see them for 3 or 4 hours out of the day. What about the other 20 hours? So the homeboy was important to me. I wanted to know each guy's homeboy, because that's the person that's going to be with my players for 20 hours out of the day. So that was my focus. If I get to the homeboy, my player, I know is in a safe place, because I put the pressure on the homeboy and say, hey, you're going to be hanging with my guy for 20 hours out of the day. You got to make sure he's doing the right stuff. And I tried to do that professionally. I tried to do it the right way. And I think I did, because even today, man, I still get a lot of players that understood the stuff that I did behind the scenes that I wasn't looking for a pat on the back for.
Hey, RB, take us as a player development the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bizarre night.
Yeah.
We've talked about it with Nick Friedel. I remember being there as a producer and just not understanding when Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade came out of the locker room and kind of said what they said about not being coached hard enough and practice hard enough. And, you know, I've always been a Rondo supporter. I'm not going to get into what I saw Rondo from, but take us through as a player development coach, what you saw, how you kind of dealt with it, you know, for our viewers, and what you thought of the whole situation.
And John, that's and player development comes from two different angles. There's a player development coach that's on the basketball court, and there's a player development, which I was part of the front office. And a front office member should never have anything to do with the basketball game itself. From a player development on the court, my job always was to get the players to practice early, make sure they're not late. If something is going on with their family, I would want to know about it before they even in the building, because maybe there's a time where we don't jump on this player because something personal just happened in their lives. We don't even know that stuff. So it was important that you never know what happened. A kid can have an accident that's not going to be at practice. So that was my main focus, to make sure the players get to practice early, to make sure they all practice and make sure they are professional. And my stickler, man, was everybody treat everybody the same as teammates. And that I think that's why I excelled. Away from the game, man, I did stuff that, like I said, Gar and John probably don't even know. And I was put under the gun for it. I didn't call Gar and John and say, hey, should I take care of this? And I'll give you an example. I had one player we signed. He wasn't, of course, living in Chicago, and he got his house, and he wanted me to go get his keys to his home because he wasn't there yet. So I went and got his keys, met him at the airport, again, picked this kid up from the airport, took him to his house with his keys. And as I'm sitting there, I can hear he and his wife are like seriously crying. And I'm like, oh God, what's going on? Come to find out, they came to Chicago with nothing, with no furniture, with no towels, with nothing. So what do I do as a person? Like, God, I didn't have this back in the 90s. So what do? I jump in my car with this family and go to Target. and take them shopping. I didn't call Gar and John and say, hey, should I do this? It was an instinct of mine that this kid needed some direction. He needed some help. And that's what I get the pleasure of. If I can help a kid in that way. And to this day, this kid and I laugh about that all the time. He's like, do you remember when we went to Target? I'm like, yeah, I remember the 10 grand you spent at Target.
Wow.
Yeah. So Mark, so I'm sorry. So John, that's a great question. There's two different angles from a player development standpoint. And I got a chance to experience both on the fly. And I just use, the stuff that I learned over the years, man, to get back to the younger guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, because you had worked in the front office and then went down to the coaching staff, there were rumors out there that you were reporting back to Pax and Gar what was going on inside the locker room. You want to clear that up for our audience?
Mark, my stomach hurts every time I hear it because the people that know me know it's not true. And even when the story was written, I was thrown back for it. I was thrown back because I had no idea where it was coming from because I've never had an issue with a player. My job as a coach wasn't to get any information from my player to give back to Gar and John. Gar and John wouldn't have respected me for that, for one. And there was nothing that I wanted to know from the players to give back to those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was nothing going on in the locker room where I can say, you know what, I'm going to take this back to Gar and John to see if I can get a raise or I can keep my job. No, that never, it never ever happened. And I can 100% say I've never had a situation where Gar and John even came to me and said, hey, Randy, what's going on in your locker room? They just didn't work that way. I remember it was on a Sunday night when Fred Hoiberg called me. I was the assistant GM at the time. And I'm sitting on my couch and Fred Hoiberg calls me and I helped Fred put his staff together at the time. And he lost a coach right before training camp. And he came and he called me. He was like, hey, would you want to fill this spot for me? I was like, no, no, it's not in the plans. Mark, yes. I laughed about it. And Fred was my teammate with the Bulls. A lot of people don't know that. Fred Hoiberg and I are real good friends. So when he asked me this, I turned it down for a week. Until finally one day I said, you know what, Fred, I'll do it for a year. Well, that year turned out to be 4 years. Gar and John never said, hey, Randy, I want you to do this. I think it'd be great for you. Never, ever happened. It was Fred and I having a conversation. And I finally was like, you know what, let me go to coaching again. And I thought it was only going to be for 1 year, Mark, and it ended up being for 4 years. And I kind of, what you said, Mark, I lost my niche again because here I am. I was on the verge of being a general manager. There was talks about me running my own team, and I broke that chain. I broke that chain and went to coaching. And years later, when I wanted to go back in the front office, the opportunity wasn't there. So, Mark, 100%, I'm sorry. Anybody can call me out on it. Never happened that a player told me something that I went and shared that with a front office member. It just doesn't happen. I've lived in too many locker rooms. And
one of the things, Randy, is that you're a former player and you know the code of ethics. What goes on in the locker room stays in the locker room. You were in one of the most powerful locker rooms ever, with all kind of media, with hundreds of droves of media coming in that Bulls locker room during that second three-peat. And we always kept, Phil always kept a tight lid on everything that went behind that. And we knew as players never do that. And then when we go off on our own, that's a code that stays with you forever. And I think where the misconception was just because the fact that you were in the front office, then you came down as a coach, and then it looked like to not players, but to certain media guys who we will not name, we will not give them the benefit of the doubt, that started that rumor. And it was unfair, and it put you in an unfair situation. It was wrong. And trust me, if it was me, I'd have sued, because it was defamation of character. It was a character assassination. And it was a situation of saying, hey, look, a lot of people did not know what was going on. They got a glimpse of it when with the Dwayne Wade and the Jimmy Butler situation came out, and people started saying, whoa, this is a little bit more ugly than we thought. And there's things starting to bubble out behind the scenes. And as you know, we in this organization, we keep everything close to the vest. We don't tell the media anything. I mean, we're around it. I see things every day. You see things every day. We don't go to the media and tell everything that we see. It's not our place. So when I heard that, I was really, really disappointed in the guy who wrote the article. And because he basically just came out and just made it look like it was you and it was wrong, and it was it was a character assassination, which he should have had to pay for that.
You know what, King? It hurt me in a lot of ways, because, like I said, a lot of people that know me probably is like, you know what, this is some BS. It's not true. But a lot of people that don't know me probably looking at the things like, you know what, he's breaking that code of being in that locker room. And you're right, King. I play with some powerful people that are still in this business. And I learned, I understood the power, the sacred of being in a locker room. Even after a 2-hour practice, we sat in the locker room for 5-6 hours, just talking about nothing. And so I understood the principle of being sacred in that locker room. But not one time, King, did I do an interview about how I got to the Bulls coaching staff. Nobody knows that. Everybody thought that Gar and John did this. It was Fred's idea, and I agreed to it. I didn't have to. I could have told Fred, no, I'm not coaching. I'm staying where I am because I had a great job at the time. I didn't do it for the money. I would have been making this probably more money being assistant GM. I decided to go to coaching to help a friend and be a team player, which I've always been. And that King, I'm not even gonna lie, it hurt me to the fact that people were looking at me as being that S word. That's a strong word, man, to call somebody an S word. I've been called a lot of stuff as a player. I've never been called that S word, and it hurt. And it hurt. And I said again, I'm very lucky, brother. I've been a coach, player, assistant GM with the Chicago Bulls. I've been very lucky, and nothing's ever been given to me. I've worked my way to everything I've got. And that right there, King, it showed me like, Randy, okay, you've been talking now, you've been this tough person. Are you going to stand up for yourself? And I did. And I did, because I still stand by that. There's never been a situation, brother, where I've been deceitful to one of my guys, because I was even, King and Mark, I know this is a long answer. I'll leave it with this with you guys. I was even criticized as a coach for being too pro player. As a coach, 99% of the time I agreed and sided with my players. I got criticized for that. So when there was a situation where a player was going to be reprimanded for anything, I always played devil's advocate. So it kind of hurt that it kind of turned opposite for me when I was Gar and Pax's eyes and ears. I think I deserve a little bit more credit than that.
I agree. And I think a lot of it because of the disdain that, fans had for the front office during that time. I mean, I think that also fueled it. Like, yeah, that sounds like something they would do. Yep. And they just kind of ran with it. And then when you see it in print, because a writer prints that just kind of fans the flames for people to get their frustration. Yeah, that sounds something. I could see Gar Forman and Gar and Pax doing that. And I know they would never do that. I know you would never sell yourself out there to do it. So, I mean, and it hurt me. Like we had Pax on last week, and one of the things, being former teammates and friends with you guys, it hurts you to see you guys be attacked. Because our natural reaction as a brother, if my brother was being attacked, I'm gonna fight with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we all are in our family of players that's been in this organization. When one gets attacked, we all get attacked. And you guys have thick skin, because when you take this position, you have to you got to take the higher road. You can't, Pax said the same thing. You got to have thick skin. You can't get involved in all that. But see, I got thin skin. You do. I do. I got thin skin when it comes to this kind of stuff. And it's very frustrating.
He does.
So I'm mad for you. I get to say what you want to say.
King, you brought up a great point, brother. And I'm telling you, I never even thought about what you just said. A guy that has nothing to do with the Chicago Bulls is probably looking at that like, look, Gar and John plays Randy Brown on Fred Hoiberg's staff.
Yep.
Right. I now sit back thinking about that. I can really see that. But for the people that's listening, never happened. Fred Hoiberg, my personal friend, my old teammate, called me and said, hey, Randy, here's the opportunity for you. Do you want it? And for a week, I said no.
We have this argument all the time about Derek because you know me, I'm the biggest D Rose fan, and the argument that I hear a lot of people talk, they say he's not a Hall of Famer, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, because remember when he first came in the league, everybody said he's not a traditional point guard. He needs to learn how to get his teammates involved. La 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 la. Okay. And now he's a traditional point guard. He's the guard that everybody wanted him to be. And now they're saying, well, he's not as good as he used to be. And it's like, okay, what do you want from the kid? I mean, he battled back from 2 major devastating injuries to put himself in position, except coming off the bench, when we know he's still a starter in this league. And he didn't have an ego. It's where you want me to play, how many minutes you want me to play. And he has proven over the last 4 or 5 years that he is still one of the top point guards in this league. And I think when his career is done, if he continues to play and avoid injury, he will be a Hall of Famer.
King, this kid has a collective bargaining provision named under his name.
Yes.
He changed the collective bargaining agreement because he became rookie at such a young age. He became an MVP at such a young age. He changed the game. So to say, oh, he's not a real point guard and everybody's looking for this prototype point guard, I was kind of thrown back from it because everybody's looking for that point guard Derrick Rose is right now. That scoring point guard.
Yes.
Who can score and get his teammates involved. And he's shown that. He's shown that he's capable of coming off the bench. And he knows that I'm happy for him that he's able to change his game and retool his mindset to put his game on that pedestal again. So a lot of people, I understand, criticize D Rose for not coming back from an awful, ugly injury. And the only thing I was thinking that this kid mentally is not ready to come back after this rehab. An ACL tear in May, not going to get you ready in November. It's not. It just doesn't happen. I don't care how much science or doctors you can put on it. This is this kid's first injury, and then he went through another knee injury that set him back again. So mentally, like I said, a lot of people would have shut it down, man. Yeah. This kid, man, is going to write his own story when he's done. And you're right. Absolutely. I don't understand how he cannot be a Hall of Famer. I don't understand how he cannot. This kid has retooled his game, and he's put himself in a position where he came off the bench and everybody wanted him to be a starter again. That's how good this kid was.
Randy, you've been super generous with your time. Congratulations on getting that degree. And before we let you go, what's next? Do you want to get back in the NBA as a coach or an executive, or what are your goals?
Mark, I for the last 2 years, I did it to myself. I've been working without an agent, and King knows this. Yeah. I've been working without an agent, and I've been making phone calls to people in the business that I'm personal relationship with. And I can get in one door, but I couldn't get in a second. And I was going after front office positions because that's my passion. I love evaluating talent. And I finally hired an agent this summer. And my agent was like, hey, Randy, I'm getting calls about you coaching again. And I'm like, here we go again. Yeah, King, exactly.
Yeah.
And I did it to myself. But I also take that as an acknowledge that the fact that I've been places where a lot of people haven't. I've coached. I've been part of player development. I've been assistant GM. I've done a lot of stuff that people haven't done. And so I got to take some pride in that because of the hard work I've done. So yes, I'm done with school. My wife is absolutely tired of me. I'm ready to get back to work, Mark, because I think I feel like I got a lot I can share in a front office seat. I know how to build relationships. Watching the game and evaluating talent, I can do that with my eyes closed. That's nothing. And I don't think I'm deserving of an opportunity. I don't think anybody, I never look for a handout, but my 25 years of service, brother, is going to get me back in there. And my agent is going to say, Randy, you can't turn down the coaching job. My passion has always been front office. Yeah, I want to impact somebody's organization from evaluating talent, and I learned that from Gar and John Paxson.
Well, Randy, we wish you the best of luck in getting back into the league. We enjoyed watching you as a player, and we're just wishing the best for you as you venture on into your next NBA opportunity.
And in honor of your degree from Mexico State, the Aggies, I'm going to play your fight song to break.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
We aim to please, baby. And, give me the hot sauce, baby.
Give me King. Susan, thank you. Susan, thank you, King.
Thank you.
Hey, good seeing y'all, people.
You are absolutely crazy.
How about that? The Aggies fight song.
I'm not getting too hyped about that right now. I need the Sooner fight song. Hey, we're doing too much. We're doing too much.
John, thank you.
John, we're doing too much. Okay?
King, thank you.
We try to please our guests, but you're doing too much.
Hey, we're coming back with more Gimme the Hot Sauce. It's episode 45.
Randy Brown. That boy can sing.
Give me that hot sauce.
Give me the hot sauce.
Now there's a fight song. I tell you what, we love Randy Brown. He was a fantastic guest. We hope you enjoyed the interview, but the New Mexico State Aggies fight song didn't do much for us. There's a real fight song right there.
That is a true fight song right there, America. I love Randy Brown, but I don't think anybody's playing the New Mexico State fight song
Are they
anytime
playing that
soon.
against Tulane?
Oh, no.
Hey, but let me tell you
got a
something.
little bit nervous for the King.
Let me tell you something. In America, see, I got to take these jabs. Tyson over here biting earlobes. Okay, my Sooners won the game. Okay, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, you see a W. We didn't play particularly well at home. I'm a little nervous. Our defense gave up too many points to Tulane. But America, we won, unlike the Wisconsin Badgers, as he's sitting over there repping the Wisconsin Badgers, who got beat at Camp Randall at home to Penn State, the start of the Big Ten games.
Hey, last time I checked, Penn State is the Nittany Lions. We are Penn State.
Oh my
Tulane.
God. What are they ranked? What are they
Tulane.
ranked? What is Penn State ranked?
I think they're 12th.
I think they're higher than Tulane.
Okay, yeah. Well, they are higher than Tulane, but it doesn't matter, John. It's the first game of the season, and you're at home with your big crowd.
Yeah.
You might not win a game in the Big Ten.
They're going to run the table.
You might not win.
That Wisconsin game was hard to watch, though. They had 3 possessions in the red zone and didn't score a single point.
Mark, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, because I concur. It was hard to watch. I changed the channel.
It was nothing at halftime.
It was boring. It was boring. Listen, I started watching
about that jump around.
Let me tell you something. Before you, this is how boring it was. I turned it on the pickleball championship. Okay, I turned it on. I passed it up. I went to the pickleball championship because the Penn State Wisconsin game was just dry.
You know how bad it was, John.
Water, please. That's right.
John, being a producer director extraordinaire, you know how they always have the little teases coming up the halftime show.
Yeah.
For the Penn State Wisconsin game, they put Big Ten rock fight.
Hey, it was
because they didn't have any highlights.
It was terrible.
They need another analyst on that set.
They should bring me out there.
They should,
because I would definitely
for all
say
seasons.
I would definitely say, hey, listen, hey, this sucks. Can we put on something else, please? Can we put on the pickleball championship, please? I want to see the pickleball
Was that
championship.
on NBC Sports Chicago?
No, we don't. We're not. No, we didn't raise the eye in the sky. We didn't get that on.
All right.
So it looks like.
Oh, I've been shot.
Yeah, we're going rapid fire. It looks like Alabama's heads and tails above everybody. It's only 1 week, but they look awfully strong. The new quarterback, really good.
I'm gonna tell you what. What's his name? Bryce. What is his last name? Look it up, John.
It doesn't matter.
His name is
He's
Bryce.
just really good.
It doesn't almost matter who you put in this starting quarterback role. They always
system, man.
I mean, it's the system, and this kid has got talent. I mean, he broke a freshman record.
Bryce Young?
Bryce Young. He broke a record that was, the previous 4 card was Mac Jones, I think. It was Joe Namath or Ken Stabler. The most yards thrown by their first game.
Bart Starr?
I don't know, man. I don't know if Bart Starr was throwing it like that.
No.
This kid was slinging it. And I tell you what, they just reload at the wide receiver position. I mean, they've got so many guys that's been in the draft the last 2 years in the first round.
Yeah.
They just reload.
Yeah, people wonder why Alabama's so good. They have the number 1 recruiting class just about every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a self-sustaining
Have
program.
you been down to the university? I mean, seriously, all jokes aside, all jokes aside, have you been down to Tuscaloosa? Have you seen the facilities, the program? That in itself, if I was a college athlete I mean, if I was going back now, like I went down there, if Alabama had a great basketball program and their program looked the way it looks now, you'd have had me too. I'm going to Alabama. Roll Tide! Roll Tide! But you know what? I ended up in Oklahoma, baby. I ended up Sooner Land, baby.
And now that name, image, and likeness thing, some of these kids are getting $1 million. Oh, yeah. So,
baby, could you imagine what Stacey Sky King would have done back in the day?
Yeah.
If I could have had my brand.
I thought you were getting that back in the day.
Wow,
that
Mark.
was Wayman.
Hey, American Statute of Limitations.
That was Wayman.
You heard nothing here on the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. You can't touch me in CAA. It's legal now, baby.
But you took a pay cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I did take a pay cut when I came to the Bulls. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, come on.
Got the rifles? We are recording this podcast on Thursday evening, getting ready for the NFL kickoff. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champs, hosting the Dallas Cowboys. I imagine you rooted for the Cowboys as a kid, Stace.
What the hell did you just... I thought you were a New England Patriot fan and a Bears fan.
Tom Brady.
My oldest daughter is very excited about Gronk and Tom Brady getting their rings tonight. Sorry, that's all I got for you.
Oh, wow, there's no
I'm not a
loyalty in the Walsh
Buccaneers
house.
fan.
Did you watch any of the Hard Knocks with the Cowboys?
I watched a little bit of it, and let me just say this, man, America. I grew up a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm not afraid to admit it. I've been hiding in the closet for the last 4 or 5 years. I'm crawling out the closet.
Oh, come on.
And I'm supporting my Cowboys.
What?
Yes. How about them Cowboys? We're gonna win it, baby. We get to the Super Bowl, baby. And it starts tonight. We're gonna beat up on Tom Brady.
Troy and Emmett and Michael Irvin aren't coming out of that tunnel tonight, pal.
Out of that closet? Is that what you're saying? There's plenty of room in that closet.
Listen.
Hey, have you seen their
closet.
facility?
Yes, let me tell you something.
The Cowboys facility?
Go down and look at the Cowboys facility.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's all
like a
about
city.
It's all about the facilities.
Here's my prediction, real quick. They always start fast.
Cowboys?
Cowboys.
All right.
September, all the Cowboys look good, and then they fade.
And we gotta listen to his analysis.
They fade.
They got that great Big Ten running back, Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's a
the
player.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
And if Dak Prescott stays healthy,
Oh, boy.
which is a big if. In their offensive line, who's been pretty dominant the last few years.
Sure.
If they can put it together this year, how about them Cowboys?
I'm putting it in the notes.
Oh, I've been shot.
The Bears open up Sunday night in Los Angeles against the Rams. Justin Fields will be watching from the sideline, but I tell you what, if Aaron Donald gets a couple licks in on Andy Dalton, we might see the rookie.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Are you in good hands? Stay on the sideline, baby.
Yeah, stay on
hold the clipboard.
Wait till week 2, right?
No. Wait the whole season. Do not get out there, Justin
Lose your
Fields.
helmet.
Lose the helmet, lose the shoe, come out in flip flops. Just stay. We need you for the next year.
You don't want him to see him at all in his rookie year?
No,
because not with that offensive line.
No, that's pretty bad.
I do not want that kid to have anything happen to him before he really gets an opportunity
Chuck and
to get
duck.
out there. Because listen, unless you're going to put in an offense that's going to get him on the move and get him out of the pocket, that's the only way it's going to happen. I mean, kind of like, Mahomes moving him around and letting his athleticism take place. But these guys are bigger and faster. And I'm still having nightmares on that hit he took in the second preseason game. And that's what I'm worried about more so. Let them get their offensive line together before you put that kid out there. Let the red rifle, the red gun, or whatever you want to call him, let him be the quarterback. He's a veteran. He's a veteran quarterback.
let him get beat up.
Yeah.
Let him take the hit.
He's familiar with getting hit behind bad offensive lines.
But you know what though? I mean, he's a serviceable starter. I know everybody's excited to see Justin Fields to turn him loose, but you got to be careful with these young quarterbacks, man. If you don't have the protection, you could damage this kid, his psyche. I don't think you can because it just looks like he's really strong mentally. But I just don't put him out there this year.
I tell you what, though, you look at the injury report already. The Bears have suffered so many key injuries. Eddie Goldman hurt his knee at practice. The nose tackle, he could be out. Khalil Mack has got a groin injury. He's limited at practice. And Darnell Mooney, their speed receiver, is hurting as well.
And that's the other thing, the other component of the NFL, offensive line and depth at positions. And those are two things that Bears don't have.
Right. They've got a long way to go.
Spend some money.
Got some more rifles for us on Rapid Fire? We got to get to this segment because it's always one of our favorites when John plays show and tell. For those
real
of you
quick.
watching on YouTube, this is going to be what? The history of the tub?
Yeah.
Is this what I'm hearing?
I saw him down there this morning.
So real quick, I know we've mentioned the tub.
You saw him down there, you knew you were in trouble.
Real
huh?
quick. The Baseball Hall of Fame, I got kind of fired up. Ted Simmons.
Simba.
Well, you remember Simba. But so this is basically a couple of little treats. This is how I started collecting cards. I'd get like a tackle box.
Wow, that's how I thought
and then
it
I
was,
would
a
get the
fish tackle.
cards. And I would just throw them in there.
Yeah, but they're not encased in plastic, so
this
the value.
is,
No.
you know, the White Sox.
Slimy.
Here's Royal Stillman.
Oil.
You know, just extra, you know. Anyways, this is how it would start. Complete sets over the years, and then
Do you have it arranged by team?
by team.
How many
right?
cards are
That's
actually
box
in there?
number 2.
So,
There's more boxes?
so yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Don't knock over the hot sauce.
No, don't.
That's valuable
Yeah,
merchandise
yeah,
of it.
It'll be a lawsuit.
So then I got a little more sophisticated, and I purchased this baseball card box, and now all the cards are aligned by team.
That is
Go
nice.
through.
Now that's nice.
So all the cards are here. So if I want to look at a certain team, I just find the team, and these are complete sets. This is the complete set of the New York Yankees 1979.
All right, who's on that
Okay.
card? Give our viewers a.
Well, I can tell you who's
who
on
is
it without
Who
even
is it?
telling you.
All right, well, tell us.
Well, you got Lou
You've been in the
Piniella,
tub,
you got
you
Thurman,
know.
you got Thurman
Munson?
Thurman Munson, you've got Chris Chambliss, Roy White, you've got
You got Chris Chambliss?
I got Chris Chambliss right here. Chris Chambliss, baby.
Oh,
Right
baby,
there.
Was
number
Reggie
10.
still there, or was he with the Angels at that point?
Who? No, Reggie was here. Ron Davis, Craig Nettles. Remember Craig
Craig
Nettles?
Nettles, the third
Gold glove,
baseman,
baby.
baby.
Louisiana Lightning, Ron Gidney.
Oh,
Guidry.
Gidry, baby. Oh,
Boomer
the-
Scott. I didn't think he played for the Yankees then. He was a Red Sox
It's just a
guy.
shame all those cards are so greasy.
I know. I'm just looking at him.
Louis Tion was a Yankee.
Oh, Louis Tion.
Yeah. And then
Oh, is that autograph too?
well, they had the autographs on there. Goose
El
Gossage.
Presidente.
Is that Goose?
Yep. Don,
Before he got the mustache, the
Don
handlebar.
Gullett. You know, Fred Stanley. Let
How
me
much
see.
are those cards worth, John?
Well, I mean-
that was a great Yankees team.
Yeah.
Look, Willie Randolph, and then there he is, Reginald Jackson.
Reggie.
But that was the year the We Are Family Pirates won the World
Yeah,
Series.
that would be the We Are. That's right. They beat the Baltimore Orioles. Right.
Willie Stargell.
I have that.
Oh, the
Dave
Yankees
Parker.
didn't get there?
Not that year. They
Not
beat the
that year.
Orioles.
78.
Came
the
back
Yankees.
from 3-1.
78. The Yankees. So anyway, so
I feel
this
like
is,
Les Grobstein remembering all that.
Yeah. So this box.
Robert.
The two of you.
This is
Shout out to Grobber.
And then in 1981, I bought some cards. So this is
You
the
bought them from Western Electric?
Well,
I didn't know they sold trading cards.
They didn't. But the guy I bought them from, his parents worked for Western.
He knocked over a
So-
service guy,
so
service
now-
repairman.
The
yeah.
box is looking kind of old.
It is 1980, and there you
kinda
go.
old, John.
There's all the complete sex of all
Sex?
Sex.
But hey, it's children listening.
So here's the White Sox right there, 1980.
1980. Who's on that team, John?
Look at the way he's got the rubber bands.
Yeah.
Really nice.
You know what?
That's why you don't bend the
you know
card.
what? I mean,
Organized,
he's
yeah.
very organized. I
Bend
like
the
that.
card. So there's the team photo. That's the card you get.
Nobody can see that.
Nobody can see but John, America.
Alan Bannister.
Alan Bannister.
Thad Bosley was on that team, right? Remember
Where'd they finish in the
Ed
standings that
Farmer.
year?
Remember Ed
Farmer?
Farmer?
Farmio.
Ed Farmer, Farmio, right there.
Well, Ed Farmer looked like Mark
He was a
Fidrich.
really
Yeah.
good closer for the White
Yep.
Sox.
Ralph Garr.
Yeah.
Yep.
Roadrunner.
So it goes on and on and
So
on.
Yeah, it does go on.
Oh, wait. Chet Lemon.
Yeah.
Chet Lemon.
Chester.
Hey, this guy, Milt May. See, these bring back my childhood watching the White Sox.
Look at the smile on his face.
Yeah, he's like so
he's
happy.
really
He's
loving
excited.
it.
Hey, do you have those? John, let me ask you a question. Do you have your little tub insured?
No,
Just
I
in
don't.
case
You
you
should
get
take
a
out some
fire.
insurance.
You should
Yeah.
take some insurance out on that.
So the final box, okay, I was working for the Raiders. I met a guy at Tops, and
Yeah.
we became buddies. And one day, I got a shipment, and he sent me
Be careful with the hot sauce,
Yeah.
man.
Be careful.
Hot Sauce America,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
You
He
can get it
sent
at
me-
GimmeTheHotSauce.com.
Complete
.com,
sets.
exactly. There's a whole bunch.
So
there
I
for you.
have complete sets from 1988,
Unopened.
unopened. This has never been opened.
It's worth millions.
Oh, please.
To 1992, unopened.
Just think of all the rookie
And
cards
that
in there
guy,
that are
that guy no
classics.
longer works at Tops for giving John all these valuable cards.
Anyway.
He's unemployed right now. Thanks, John.
That's
you
the
selfish
evolution
son
of the
a-
pin. It goes from a tackle box to a regular box to cards I
To
acquired.
complete unopened sets.
Get them insured,
There's
John.
no gum in there
John,
to wreck the
get
cards.
them
Is there?
insured.
In the tops box?
Yes.
That doesn't damage the card, does it?
Just in case you have a flood, you have a flood or,
You don't have to open the box.
No.
Oh, no, don't open
No,
it,
don't,
John. No, don't do it,
I just
John.
want to see what it looks like. We'll open the box here. While you're...
He wants to try some 30-year-old chewing gum.
Yeah, look at it. Is there gum in there for real?
there's no
Actually, it'd be
problem.
40-year-old
Here's
chewing
what,
gum.
Gross.
here's what it looks like inside the box. There's all the cards.
That is
right there.
pristine.
So any of you in America, any of you guys collect baseball cards,
Yeah, let Stinger know what they're worth. He really needs to know.
Because John will come over there and steal them from you and basically tell you your cards are worthless and force you to give them to
Because
him.
we might just cash in his cards and forget the podcast.
Yeah. You know what? I'm impressed, John. I didn't really know what your card condition was going to look like. I
Those are nice.
honestly thought it was going to come in there.
Visit us.
Well, you got to invite me, Susan.
I've invited you.
No, you invite me to
repeatedly.
how
serve
was the
hors
seafood
d'oeuvres.
fest,
You invite me to
piece?
serve hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, thank you
That
for
is
bringing
so
that up,
not
too.
true.
Okay, wait a minute.
I'm not whispering.
Wait a minute, I forgot to tell you too. As you guys were having a little seafood boil or whatever was going on at the estate
Feast.
at the Walsh household
feast, yeah.
that I didn't get invited to.
You
Okay.
did.
Yeah,
You
everybody
invited.
Did I get an email? Did somebody text
It
me?
was on the group text.
It was- Thank you,
I
Mark.
wasn't in the group. Anyway, America.
All right,
America.
Tito.
America. They left Michael off again. See, America.
Guys.
While they were having their festivities up there in Wisconsin, in the gated community and their palatial estate.
You
I
live-
was guess
you
where I
live
was
in a
at.
gated
Where were
community.
Guess
you?
where I was at?
Where were you?
Cleaning up poop.
Nope. Eating ribs.
At Kelly's?
Tim Kelly's.
Oh no!
I told you. Did you hear? Hold it, America.
Get invited.
Yeah, I tried. Did you not get my FaceTime? Remember? Did you y'all?
Yeah,
you remember
and
that?
we
And I said-
And I was
What's up,
sending
King?
yes, and I was sending you guys a FaceTime because Tim
You
didn't
were
want me.
eating ribs?
Tim didn't want me to tell y'all that I was in his house. So I go because the first thing I said was America. This is I'm a team player. So I get a call from my boy Tim Kelly. He said, "Hey, what are you
Wow.
doing?" I said, "Nothing."
shocked.
He said, "Come on over and let's I'm cooking some ribs."
I'm shocked.
I'm like, "Oh, you ain't got to ask me twice. I was there." So then I get over there, assuming that my Gimme the Hot Sauce crew was there because we know we travel as a team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently not.
Yeah, we see Tim, he pulled the selfish player on us.
Wow.
Didn't want to pass the ball. He passed it to his boy though, and I scored. Anyway, so I get there
I'm hurt.
and I'm like, I see other people. I'm like, where's Mark and where are the Walshes? Where's everybody at? This, the classic whispers.
That's cold.
So I go,
Cold-blooded.
you didn't invite him? He goes, no, we're going to do something totally different with
Oh,
all of
yeah,
our people.
Totally different.
So I said, well, but by the time you do this,
We're gonna have food and
By the
drinks.
time
Totally
you,
different.
By the you guys are gonna have chips,
going to
chips and
Hooters.
salsa, okay? But what I told him, I said, by the time you throw another party, it's gonna be cold outside, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be at a barbecue. He goes, no, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something. So I'm sitting there enjoying my ribs. Oh my god, they were awesome.
Were you guilty? Did you feel guilty?
Yes, so I said I'm
No,
gonna
he
call.
wasn't.
So no, I did. So
you did.
Tim,
He did
so,
FaceTime us.
So I tried to FaceTime y'all because I wanted y'all to see that I was thinking about you. So I FaceTime you, and so Tim's like, so Tim gets the FaceTime call too. And I didn't know, and I totally forgot. I'm like, Tim. So then he goes, "What are you doing?" I go,
What are you doing?
He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm texting up people. I want them to know I'm having a good time. He goes, "Hang that up."
I'm
Hang it
turning
up.
you in.
And if you notice, it was an abrupt ending to the call.
I
It
did
was like
notice that.
2 rings and it
It
cut
was
off.
it was Monday night. Yeah.
Yes, Monday night.
We thought you butt dialed.
No, I was trying to get y'all
But
to see what was going on.
But I did say, "What's up, King?"
You did, but you
And
know
no
what?
answer
My
response.
phone
Crickets.
was confiscated
Crickets.
because of the fact that I tried to call y'all.
Did you bring some of the delicious?
Oh, let me tell you something.
Give me the hot
Wait
sauce.
a minute, America.
bring that to the barbecue?
Let me tell you something, America. Where's the barbecue sauce? Let me see it. Bring the King's Q. Okay, America. Here, pass it over here, John.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, man. America.
Can't be trusted with this.
Let me tell you something.
absolutely
America.
not.
Look at this right here.
Oh my God.
If you are throwing a barbecue, okay, this is my first time tasting this on ribs, okay? Look, King's Q, you can see it right there. It's
Oh my
King's
God.
Q. You can go to gimmethehot.sauce.com. Give me the hot sauce. A little shameless plug, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
We put these on the ribs. We had a taste test with
Yeah.
people in the house.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
put like, raised.
blind taste test, yeah.
No, we didn't even tell them. We just said,
Yeah.
these are here, taste these. And everybody wanted King's Q.
everybody that
Sriracha.
was
Everybody.
invited.
Yeah, everyone. Listen.
And there is an unbiased testimonial,
Yes.
America.
Yeah.
You know what, America. I did not want to leave my team, okay? I did not want to leave my team. I was invited.
But you
I was
did.
assuming that we were all going to be there. And then I get there, to my surprise, America, I'm by myself. I was like a raisin in a bowl of cream of wheat. I was the only black person there. I didn't see anybody else there.
You didn't have to serve appetizers.
No. I told him that's low, Mark. Okay, I told you that in confidence, Mark. You didn't need to bring that up to the listeners. Okay, no, I didn't have to serve hors d'oeuvres like John was going to have me do at the lobster boil. Because they were doing a New England type of feel. They were having what'd you have, crabs and all this stuff.
Belichick, Tom Brady were there.
Lobster,
oysters.
yeah, oysters. Did you throw corn in there and all that kind of stuff?
No. It was. Trust me, we didn't have time to make the seaweed and
Or invite
corn.
people.
Yeah, invite people.
Wait a minute. I thought we
See?
said we were having a seafood
Yeah, we
feast.
did invite you. But
I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe you
He
sent it
told
to your
me-
neighbor.
No, he said they were having a seafood feast, but it never said, would you like to join
No,
us?
yeah.
That's what it.
Well, maybe the invite got to the guy you stole the card from,
He-
Tim, and maybe Tim got it. I didn't get
he
it.
got this box in the mail, and he goes, "Oh shoot, it's the seafood." And he ran to work. He goes, "Can you put it in the refrigerator?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I opened the box, and there were live lobsters in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just screamed. I'm like, I don't do live lobsters. I said, "Honey, they're on dry ice."
How did you
get
cook
home."
them? Did you kill them? Did you put
Hell
them in
yeah.
boiling water?
Hell yeah.
Boom. Dropped them right in.
Have you ever seen that commercial with the lobster that's hiding from the people who are trying to put him in hot water?
Yeah,
and he's in the pool,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, gotta go. And he ducks into the pool because he doesn't want to go into
In a certain light, mine looked like whispers. In a certain light, I was like, "Wow, does that look like Tim Whispers?"
This is what happens when you're not here.
Oh, Tim,
man.
I got you back, Tim. Tim did say, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to have a Gimme the Hot Sauce barbecue.
We're not holding our breath.
No,
Slash podcast?
No podcast.
All right,
No
just
podcast.
barbecue.
Just a family outing of our family here in the Gimme the Hot Sauce. I'm sorry you guys wasn't invited. I really felt bad. I ate my damn ribs. I was like, every man for himself, God for us all. I'm sorry, America. I was selfish.
You put a bib on and just
No, I was straight ghetto. I just eating like James King.
James King.
One hand, two hands. I was pulling a James King, baby. Woo, them ribs was good, and the King's Q was even better, baby.
Oh, man, we've done enough damage
Yes,
for
we
one
did.
show. On the way out, we want to congratulate Tony Kukoc on his induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's coming up this Saturday.
Tony.
Michael Jordan and Jerry Reinsdorf will present him. Hopefully, Michael will not take him to Hooters the night before
Yeah,
in
that
Springfield,
would be
Well,
Massachusetts.
hopefully Michael won't get up there and talk about how he beat Tony up in practice. And Tony, it wasn't for me, Tony wouldn't be in this position. You know, MJ like to
thankfully,
take credit for everything.
The presenters just walk up there and stand in the back, so he won't say anything.
Please let Tony
Well,
have his
Jordan's
moment.
getting around. He was at Jeter's thing, and
He was at-
We
yeah.
saw him there.
Yes.
So congratulations to Tony, a well-deserved honor, and that's going to be a wrap for episode 45 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. I want to thank Randy Brown, and again, our best wishes to the Kelly family. Stacey?
America, drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep. Give me the hot sauce, baby. Get you some King's Q. Another shameless plug, America. If I don't do it, who will? Give me the hot sauce.com, baby.